Welcome to Novel Thoughts. My name is Ian Galloway, and I'm here with Leigh and Tanya Charlton. Why are we here?
Well, we talk about books all the time in our office, and so we just wanted to invite our audience to engage in our conversation about books. And we were not originally going to start at the bottom of the curriculum, but the more we thought about it, we thought we need to talk about every book in our curriculum. And so we're starting with the books for our youngest learners, and we're just talking about them, and we're just basically inviting you into these side conversations that we're having in our office. But we've moved the location to our living room, and instead of the water fountain, we've got biscuits and coffee.
That's right. That's right. Now, are either of you literary critics? No, why should we listen to you?
But we do feel the burden of having chosen all of these books 20 years ago, 15 years ago. And so we do feel that all the time, like, who are you to make all these choices about what the best literature is? And it's not perfect.
You know, I think that those of us who live in the world of Memoria Press and in Highlands Latin School and classical education, you know, we're constantly fielding questions because we do things a little differently. And our treatment of books is a little different, and our ideas about books is different. And our goals with education are unique in that we are seeking a connected, cohesive experience. So every book in our curriculum, you know, fills a very intentional role because we have a plan, we have an end goal. There's a destination for our students. And so it is important that people reading through our curriculum understand exactly what they are to be gleaning from each individual book that is selected. Is it the perfect path? No. Is it the only path? No. But we're constantly fielding questions from parents and teachers who say, why this particular book? And we'll say, well, there might be others, but coming from, you know, this grade, the students are familiar with these ideas, and going forward, this book is going to be an allusion in this book, or this theme is going to be fleshed out in this book, or, you know, this is part of the journey. And we have been living in this world with these books for so long that we are like sort of amateur guides on this journey through the literature of Memoria Press. And so we can kind of see some of the vistas and some of the potholes. And we just have a lot of experience and can answer some of the questions that we field often about the books in our curriculum.
We've done the best we could, and we've looked at 1,000 books to choose the read alouds. Now, Cheryl Lowe chose the grammar school and up books, but Leigh and I chose these read alouds that we're going to talk about first in the beginning of the series.
And can y'all lay out that history for us quickly?
So as we were developing the curriculum, Cheryl Lowe built our curriculum top down. And so she said, absolutely, these students need to be reading, you know, the Divine Comedy in full. They need to be reading Lewis, Tolkien, Chesterton. They need to be doing, you know, metaphysics. And so she said this was the standard for classical education. And she built the curriculum top down. And so the books in our curriculum are very intentionally placed to lead a student to these pinnacle books. And so she put the books in the curriculum in the upper grades, and we have lived in those books for a long time. And so we don't have any particular expertise about literature, but we do have a lot of familiarity with the Memoria Press curriculum and the progression through the Memoria Press curriculum. And so we felt, you know, we were able to see maybe some of the vision, and which helped us sort of build the bottom a little bit better. And so really that's, you know, we constantly talk about these books, and books go out of print, and what books are going to go in place of these books, and what themes are we talking about in particular grades. And I mean, it's just a constant conversation. And so the only reason we're here is because we've lived in that conversation for 20 years. And the other thing about reading that, you know, we always want to say is, you know, it's an invitation to read. We just read, you know. I mean, we want everybody has their own preferences, their own values about books, and we want to engage people in, you know, tell us what you think might be better, or tell us what you love about this book, or tell us why you think, you know. Reading is an invitation for conversation and for community. And, you know, we have such a special community at Memoria Press, and that's really what we want the books to do. We just want them to be like, you know, a welcome mat for conversation about, you know, important things.
I think that's exactly what we're also trying to achieve with this show. So Leigh, I know you've been thinking about the show quite a bit. So what are your goals for this show? What do you want people to get from this?
Well, first and foremost, again, we want it to be a conversation, and we want to dispel the idea that we are literary experts.
Right.
I mean, I always say my background is antithetical to classical education, and I have been learning. I mean, I am, I think many of us in the world of classical education now are, just delighted to have found it, no matter when we found it, as adults or if we were, lucky enough to have that education as children. So I want to say there's nothing particular about, our insights that are expert but we have thought a lot about them. So I think that the thing that I would like to say is that, we've considered, deeply what's good about these books and where they're coming from and where they're going, and how they fit into our classical Christian values. And so I think just the idea of connectivity and cohesive literary experience, so we can have an education that points to, a cohesive end. That's all we're kind of trying to do here.
And we just love to talk about them.
That's right.
We talk about them all the time.
We do. We have multiple book clubs. We're always talking about books.
Yeah. I mean, we just love them. And we want to share that. And we want other people to talk with us about them because we are passionate about reading and about books. But we also feel like it's important. We do want students to read, but we do think it's important that we lead them to good books and not
We're helping them discern
junk books. Right. We are. And they're all going to read some junk books.
That's right.
They are. And that's okay. But hopefully they will start, as Cheryl always said, they would become inoculated against trash if we give them enough good stuff. And that's true. I mean, I think that's true for us. The harder and the more beautiful things that we read, then when we read something that's not so good, we recognize that, and it's not as pleasurable an experience.
The more you read, the more you know, the better your body of knowledge is. Your growth and wisdom is greater. And so maintaining, hopefully, that humility, recognizing you're not the anti-expert, but allowing these books to speak to you and embolden you to have opinions, to share your knowledge. That's the goal.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
Well, thank you guys. We're excited. We can't wait for everybody to join in with us and begin commenting as well. But thank you.